Good morning. I'm excited to show you today how to make our craft. So the first thing we're going to be doing is working on this page called Kind, Not Kind. I have already colored my friends over here. I've colored all of my little friends. Notice that when I color, I do a really careful job so that I don't go outside of the lines, and I don't want to leave white spaces very much. I can leave a little bit of white spaces, but not a ton. If I leave a lot of white spaces, then it doesn't show real life. Now this girl's wearing a white shirt over here, but when I color, look at your own clothes. I look at my shirt and there's lots of colors in it. So you can use more than one color in each thing you color for someone's clothes, right? Okay, so the first thing to do is to color your page of Kind, Not Kind. We've talked today about being kind, and we're going to think about ways that we can be kind, words that we can say that are kind, and things that we can do that are not kind. Okay, so the directions say, cut the flip book on the dotted line. This is the dotted line right here. It doesn't go all the way over. See this line here? It's not dotted like this one right here. If you look closely at your paper, it has spaces between the line. That's a dotted line. So you want to cut only to here, from the edge over to the first up and down line. Okay, that's as far as you're going to cut. So I'm going to show you that. Here are my scissors. So now I'm going to cut on the dotted line just to the middle. See how it doesn't go past there? Just to the middle. So then I'm going to fold the flip book in half. That's what the directions say. So this is what's called a flip book. That means you flip it open and it's a book. Okay, so when I fold, I want to line up my corners very carefully. Very carefully. I'm going to do that on this side too. So see, I've already folded the top, but the bottom's not folded yet. You could do this part first, but it helps you with the line of cutting if you do the cutting first. Okay, so I line up my corners, make sure they line up straight with each other. Then I grab the side and I pull it flat. Okay, now look, I have a flip book. It says on the front kind, and down here, not kind. So I have already, to save time, done the coloring and the writing. But inside you will see I've written two things that I could do or say that are kind. I said, play with a new friend. I could play with a new friend. Would that be kind or unkind? That's right, it's kind. Also, say please. Is that kind or unkind? That's right, it's kind. So these things up here are kind. Oh, look at our friends on their faces here. Are they being kind or not kind? They are being not kind. So inside I'm going to write two things I could do that would be not kind. Mrs. Dinter chose, and you can choose something different, I chose mean words. So if I use words with my friends or people that I know that are mean, is that kind? No, it's not kind. So that's what I put here. We want to use our kind words. Kindness is cooler, Mrs. Ruler. Then I put down here another thing, pushing. Is pushing a friend a kind thing to do? Nope, you're right, it's not. So we want to be sure we're using kind words, the things that we put up here, and kind things with our hands, especially at school, especially with our brothers and sisters, especially all the time, because it's so important that we are kind. Okay? So the other instructions say, inside the flaps, draw and label two things that are kind and unkind. So I did two things here for kind and two things here for unkind. All right, and a label means it's not a whole sentence. It doesn't start with a capital and end with a period. It's just some information like caveman talk. Play with a new friend. Say please. Mean words. Pushing. Those aren't full sentences. They're labels, and that's okay. So that's what you're going to do for the first one. Okay? Then our next project is a super fun one. This is, I think you're going to love this. Starts with some coloring. So the first thing to do is to color, okay? So you have a globe like this. You have some hands like this. I've colored these already. And then you have some speech bubbles. Speech bubbles are used like in comic books or cartoons when someone's saying something, but maybe they don't say it out loud. They write it in, okay? So that's something that tells us this is what they would say. So what's in a speech bubble is what someone would say. So we want to be kind to each other all the way around the world. Our whole world is going to be filled with kindness. Kindness from our hands, kindness from our mouth, like the words we say, okay? So your first job is going to be to color your hands and color your earth. I'm going to show you the earth really careful. If you can see, the blue part is the ocean. The other part is green or brown, your choice. And I wanted to show you a quick way to color quickly. When Mrs. Dinter's coloring and has a lot to color, like that whole ocean, my arm could get really, really tired. So when I do this, I want to make sure that I use my pencil kind of sideways. I don't go up and down like this to color like this. If I color sideways, it colors more quickly because I can cover more space with this kind of a movement than this kind of a movement. Okay, so I'm going to try to show you. Oh, it's really tough on this screen, but I try to angle my pencil like this, and then I just fill it in. It doesn't have to cover every single white space, just fill it in mostly, okay? So when you use the side of your pencil, that can help a little bit. Play with that and see if it helps you. So that's what I've done there. And I've also colored my hands. They're just a little bit colored. You can color them whatever color you think your hands would be. It's really good when you're coloring to try to think about realistic coloring. It's okay sometimes if we do colors that maybe we don't have purple hands and we color in purple, but it won't be realistic. Sometimes we want our coloring to be realistic. Okay, then we're going to cut out our earth, so it's going to look like a beautiful circle. Then we're going to cut out our hands. I'm going to try to do this quickly, and sometimes here's a trick. If it would take you a long time to go between all those fingers, you don't have to do that. You can cut right over the tops of all the fingers and then cut around the bottom of the hand. That just makes it a little bit quicker, and sometimes it's really good to practice our cutting. It's always good to practice our cutting, but when we're doing it, sometimes we will find that it is a little bit time consuming, and if we don't have enough time, we need to go a little faster, we can take some appropriate shortcuts. So see how I've cut around the fingers like one big line here so that I didn't have to go between all these fingers, okay? So then you're going to get out your speech bubbles and you're going to write some kind things. Mrs. Dinter made a mistake on this one, so I had to erase it, and then I had to write over it a little darker, so I'm hoping that you can still see it okay. But here's some kind words you could say. It's your turn. When we're taking turns and sharing, that would be kind. We could say please. That's a kind thing to say. We could say thank you, or we could say I'm sorry. These are all important things for us to say to one another in our lives. We need to say sorry when we hurt friends or hurt their feelings, right? Because we want to make things right. Is it okay to make a mistake? Yep, it sure is. And Mrs. Dinter does them. I sure do. And so I know that it's okay for us to learn from those mistakes and then next time try to do it better and try to next time not make the same mistake. Okay? So you can see that I've cut on the lines to just cut out my four. I don't have to cut all the way around this speech bubble, just on the lines that made the squares. Okay, so now I have all my parts cut out. I have my globe, my earth, I have my two hands, I have my four speech bubbles. Okay, and here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take some glue. I also have a green piece of paper. Everyone should have a green piece of paper that was put inside of your supplies. And I'm going to take out my glue. This is ancient glue. It's been in my, yep, that one's all dried out. Let's just hope this one isn't dried out. I have one more. Oh, thank you, God. All right, so here we go. Here is a glue stick. So I'm going to be gluing on my parts of this kindness. I'm going to start with my globe. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on him. I'm going to glue him right in the middle of my green paper, and I have to make sure he sticks, right? Push him down. Then I'm going to glue my hands on. I'm only putting a little bit of glue on the very edge, on the very bottom, like this part of the hand, and then I'm going to glue it there. Oop, right there. And then I'm going to do the other hand. Again, I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on the bottom because I don't need glue out here because it's going to be sticking out. Okay, so I'm going to stick those under. So I'm putting them under my globe so they reach like this. Okay. All right, and then let's see, I am going to do something real quick because my globe friend here needs something more. He needs some eyes. He's really cool, but he needs some eyes. So I'm just going to take a marker and I'm going to give him some eyes. My globe is going to have some eyes. So I'm going to color some eyes right in the middle. And they don't have to be perfect. Yours might look like this. And I'm going to give him a smiley face. Okay, there's my eyes up here and my mouth. Now he's a guy. He's a globe guy. And then I'm going to take my sentence, or my, nope, not my sentences. These are caveman talk, aren't they? I'm going to take my kind statements, I could say, and I'm just going to glue them around on my green paper. I'm going to glue one up here. And remember, a speech bubble is what the person would be saying. So my globe would be saying all these kind things. He would be saying, thank you. He'd be saying, please. He'd be saying, I'm sorry. And he'd be saying, it's your turn. So I have just taken that glue and glued my phrases around. Okay? So now I have a globe man stuck there. He's happy. He is a kindness globe. We want kindness all around our world, and to spread kindness, it starts with being kind, right? So practice today, making great choices, being kind. See how many kind things you can say today. Remember how Mrs. Ruler gave them an assignment, and she told them, oh, you need to say 10 kind things. Okay, I want you to come tomorrow, and I'm going to see how many people have said kind things to their family and to the people you're with. All right. Thank you for watching me on my craft. Remember, we did our 2 things. We did our kind, not kind, and we did our kindness around the world. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your day.